Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is DB333, and I probably shouldn't be recording this right now because it is 12:52 and my alarm is set for 8 o'clock. But you know what, fuck it. Gotta live on the edge, you know? Raiding and looting. The sound of whitewashing broadcasted itself on an almost empty woods. As the shovel dug on, and the briefcase stood firm in the slight moonlight breeze, a man couldn't help but think of the circumstances that led to this point. He obtained the documents, yes. He sent loyal assistants to take care of that. Without anyone knowing, he'd slipped out of Siktiv car during the dead of night. Indeed, and arranged it on an official private outing for the next few days. And he thought at least no one suspected the wiser. The waxing gibbous and flashlight were the only source reflecting on his face, yet the soul reflected much. But his resolve was clear. He would not let this come to light. Otherwise, too much would be at stake. It was for the good of the Republic, he imagined, as the shovel did the last shoveling of dirt. So yeah, we try to cut ties with Zhdanov. I don't know if that was a good idea, actually, for Vosnensky. Because right now the communists are just kicking ass right now. Holy shit. Curly sprayed red flags on alleyway walls. Red and gold flags waved in the air and hung from neighborhood houses. If only for a little time. The hills have eyes, the walls have ears, and the body parts are all from Suslov. Since our campaign against Gumilov and the right began, a surge in communist activity has been present throughout the streets of Komi. Taking the opportunity of striking our blind spots, they have begun their own campaign against the right, looking to finish them off for good. While this is ostensibly good news for us, the left will have a new target when Gumilov is gone for good. Us. We must make preparations and plans for a scenario before we are caught off guard by a powerful and influential Red Army. I'm sure it'll be fine. Ooh. Vosnensky placed his head down on the desk. An unfortunate courier delivered the news of never said documents revealed to the public. Not the first time the news was brought to him, Vosnensky simply sighed and dismissed the messenger, muttering a curse word to him under his breath. Ever since the evidence was disposed of, the Republic, and Vosnensky's in particular, have been racked by yet another political crisis. This one, however, struck the party nerve to the limit. The anonymous source has not slumbered as new documents and evidence are leaked daily to the party and the public. Suspicious of Vosnensky due to him not testifying and seeing less of a necessity, politicians loyal to him grow fewer by the day. In addition to this, rumors have resurfaced of even further ties to Zhdanov, to the point where both men would be comfortable with each other in a meeting, swapping jokes as a socialist revolution is plotted. While these are only rumors, they have still dented the reputation of the party and threatened to destroy entirely the relative internal peace within the legislative chambers. Could it be unstoppable? Probably. Effective immediately as a result of his repeated factions against Marxist theory, Ivan Alexandrovich Serov is hereby banned from Communist Party, including rights to He will retaliate, Mikhail, Zhdanov spoke after a moment of silence. I know. You have a list of those sympathetic to him? Yes, they'll receive similar letters, of course. A Nazi in our own party. It should have been seen earlier. This needs to be kept quiet, Andrei. It will not be kept quiet. Gumilov is going to love this shit. I apologize if I'm rushing through a bit of these. It's just, we've kind of gone through them already. And we'll go back to this for our Passionari run. Gentlemen and ladies of the party, the accusation befall me are quite obviously untrue. Yet despite this, rumors continue to flow and damage our run for the Republic. Due to this man is a traitor! Outbursts the deputy, and the entire chamber erupts into chaos. The evident loss of trust in Vosnensky within some sectors of the party continues to manifest itself until a screech drowns out the arguments and brings order once again in the room. Holding his microphone, Vosnensky continues. Now, these rumors are false, yet they damage us. We cannot allow the source of these rumors to continue shrouded in darkness. An investigation committee must and will be formed. This investigation will encompass any suspected spreader of these rumors. Whoever it is, we will find him, and justice will be served. The members, coincidentally Vosnensky's most trusted advisors, have already been selected, and the investigation now begins. Come out. Come out. What do we got? Guyana? Okay. Close. Wisniewski and his investigation committee glanced at each other with suspense. Progress had been minimal so far into the investigation. No leads produced conclusive results. The tension was shattered with the bursting of a door, the rushing of a committee member into the room. That damned Soviet bastard, they're watching us! Through an informant with more loyalty to Wisniewski than previously thought, a sweeping revelation came to the attention of the committee. The party, specifically Wisniewski's own wing of the party, had been infiltrated by spies. Further questioning revealed that these spies were under the command of none other than Mikhail Andreevich Suslov, suspected leader of the many socialist and communist parties and paramilitaries in the Komi Republic. For being told the news, Wisniewski mirrored the faces of the rest of his committee, near panic. A decision had to be made quickly, in order for the agents to not find out, quack immediately down on them, or wait and see what to do next. Drop the fucking hammer. Savannah urges caution. In the events of the previous session, the Democratic deputies were in a state of hysteria. Accusations flew like never before. Hostility was palpable, and all worried about the ties of even those persons sitting right next to them. The loss of unity in the party troubled Svetlana Stalina, and not articulating her own thoughts on the situation would be a grave mistake for the party. After a politician's speech on destroying the Suslov agents, Stalina took her turn to speak. Distinguished comrades, the situation that has developed in this room does not play to our advantage in the slightest. Instead of questioning the circumstances that led to the documents being leaked, you all assume that the leaker is somewhere in the room, right now. I beg of you to consider the alternate option that the leaker, as he is called, has not in fact leaked anything. Rather, it is an organized plan by our enemies. Plan to destabilize our precious democracy by framing someone who has not done anything wrong with crimes against the state. I should know this because that's what I do. Loud mutters filled the chamber at this point, with all eyes weighing upon Stalina in disquiet. I believe that this could be a conspiracy that will send us crashing down in flames. Please, think about it. The murmurings in the chamber eventually ceased, and some token applause was offered. Most, however, were worried by Stalina's admission that the conspiracy, as they feared, was not beyond her means. Perhaps it would be best to not think about it too deeply. I mean, I guess she's not wrong. The committee members were sure of it. Right there lied the evidence. The proof needed to end the debacle once and for all. A Wisniewski politician by the name of Nikita Yakovic had been accused of orchestrating the release of documents to the public, as well as spreading rumors that damaged the reputation of Wisniewski himself. Confident in their work and relieved that this emergency may finally come to an end, all but one headed out to begin the proceedings. His original purpose was to take one last look at the documents to oversee his vision for the case, start to finish, the evidence complete. But as he glanced over the document, a detail caught his eye. Didn't it say Yakovich and Zhdanov met in Yeb when no one would notice yesterday? But this interviewer of Yakovich's secretary said he was one of the office all day. And this detail here is correct, and that one, and... oh no. The committee member widened her eyes. In their haste, they had made basic errors in finding the leaker. The evidence that did implicate him was planted. A setup. Rushing out the door, forgetting his hat, he deftly went out of the room and into the night, hoping to find any way to halt proceedings before an innocent man is punished for a crime he did not commit. Can we stop it in time? Overwhelming firepower. That's how we'll destroy leaks. If the damn Germans were able to destroy the Union with it, I say it will work here. The meeting continued after that suggestion, but it seemed no other idea resonated as greatly. The leaks had damaged the Democratic Party's reputation, and fast solutions were needed in order to try to stop the ship from completely sinking. A giant media blitz is proposed as the answer. The propaganda machine will never stop turning, and it must never stop, otherwise the leaks may doom our chances of survival. Each and every leak will be analyzed and discredited. providing some sort of evidence that the documents contain falsities and lies, and so we shall turn our great campaign to defend democracy. Of course, some may say that these fact checks are untrue, even within our own party, but these naysayers wouldn't want their own files to be left out of the analyzation process, after all. All will be in agreement. Truth? It doesn't fucking matter. We'll continue another raid against St. George. Nice. Hopefully I won't forget until almost the last minute this time. Strike from the left. And we'll believe in Svetlana. Perhaps one of the only politicians that may be able to crush Gumilev, Svetlana is one of the most important assets in the battle against the radicals. Not only do her speeches inspire the politicians, but also motivate our supporters, making them even more willing to fight for their country. Svetlana is the way forward, and if we are to crush the right and the left and bring order to Komi, she must carry the torch of democracy and the flame of the will of people, of which we have full confidence in her. It's up to us to follow her example and stabilize the Republic for good. I believe this, the other one has something to do with Stalina. Oh, that's just to go after her. Okay. Let's go. Should be paid. There we go. Beautiful. We'll go ahead. New schools. Support weapons 2. Suslov walked a little easier these days. Even with his legion of spies in the government, it was never simple to determine why the Democratic parties did anything they did. Their leaders, although allies and mostly friendly to another, jealously hoarded their considerable personal influence. As a result, it was a rare event for anyone to claim ownership of an unpopular policy, such as ending the pressure on the far left. No matter the cause, the end of the war on the far left Suslov move more easily. Aggressive, ambitious underlings had pressured their boss to move violently against the propaganda government and the far right. Now that the bloodshed and propaganda war was over, a lot of Suslov's loyalists were free to crack some skulls and twist some arms to reestablish order. The fact that he calmly weathered the storm gave Suslov a lot of credibility. For now, the left stood strong and the government appeared weak. They will not fall to revisionism. Indeed. The analyst looked and looked again. No matter how many times he analyzed the figures, his success was simply not there. The spreading process was supposed to work, wasn't it? They said this was a bright idea, and yet these numbers say otherwise. Should he burst the bubble? He thought about it a bit. Despite his fearfulness of consequences, he figured the party deserved to know the truth, no matter what it says. He called his supervisors over and showed them the paper. We have a problem. This poll, given to us by analysts, shows our support is dropping. Not by a lot, mind you, but still enough to be concerning. Barbary fired him, of course, but still, it's something we need to pay attention to. The meeting attendees looked at each other with a mountain war. Vosnensky on the chair of meeting responded back. These numbers don't show anything significant. It is indeed a temporary setback, but it's not like the Germans are invading Syktyvkar. We'll debate how to fix this. If you all believe that it needs to be fixed, in a legislative debate tomorrow. Meeting adjourned. Stop wasting my time with this crap. A small price to pay. Yeah, the Democrats have no support anymore. The violence between the government and the far left had left an opening for Gumilev's scheme. Now the specter of a far-right takeover haunted Komi's young republic. Far-right parliamentarians began crawling out of their districts, moving into democratic and communist territories alike, as the depleted manpower of both factions left them unable to oppose this takeover. So it risked for face-to-face meetings to chirp between Zhdanov and the president, but desperate hours called for desperate measures. Ooh. Zhdanov requested his old friend to end to active hostilities between the government and the communists. Such a ceasefire will let both sides turn their attention to Gumilev's imminent takeover attempt. The president listened to Zhdanov's case without comment. Any question he asked might reveal information about the government's position. When the communist leader finally fell silent, Vosnensky announced his intentions. Okay. Ooh. As the gavel banged and the session began, all eyes shifted to the candidates selected for debating the course of action on the declining poll numbers and what to do to fix them. Well, each party in the coalition all holding the positions on what to do in the situation. The debate was guaranteed to be a long and intense one. Each candidate, as per debate custom, the chamber was asked to begin with an opening statement describing what they do to fix the declining support of the Democratic parties among the people. The fact that we were having this debate at all is a sign that the coalition has become full of warriors and defeatists. Numbers like these go up and down all the time. One dip does not mean we must make a crisis out of it. Next person. Democracy is virtuous, but it's fragile when faced with extremism, disregard for the very foundation of the republic. It is constantly under siege from those who wish to destroy it. Radicalism is the enemy of our republic, and only God may know what these radicals will do if they are granted access to our leadership positions. We must not allow concessions to these fascists and communists, the name of preserving our homeland from hatred and tyranny. That's all. Barely took a second for Costigan to rally kind, staring down at the audience. Thank you. Selena is correct that we must safeguard ourselves against radicals. However, not all of the radicals are unshakable in their beliefs. I believe that if we speak to the more democratic socialists, for example, less authoritarian rightists, the uncommitted citizen, who may have unfortunately waylaid to the impossible promises, we may be able to draw all them into support for democracy. My statement is done. The figures abandoned their debate. The observers walked with some interest, taking notes. However, they could only choose one winner of the debate. They believe that it's nothing. Wisniewski is right. It's gonna be nothing. I don't know why we're so worried. Coke injured in Kiev bombing. As the debate concluded, the regular, albeit mandatory applause filled the room. The Democratic delegation were asked to select a winner of the debate of the slipping popularity numbers. Comrades of the Assembly, now is the time to count the votes and determine the actions of the party in regards to the crisis. By a margin of 55, Comrade Wisniewski's plan, or rather, the lack of one, has been passed. Wisniewski's ideas were simple. There's no action needed, there is no problem. Polls are simply that, polls. The numbers will always move back and forth, and there is no reason to assume that this will change. The nature of these polls did not change, there is no reason to change anything. And after all, if there is no action needed, there is no problem. Democracy would go on. Komi would be blessed by the continued rule of the Democratic Party, all from not overreacting to one stupid fucking poll. Yeah, I'm sure things will be fine. Nothing wrong here. 25, 50, 75. Kind of like that. How it mathematically kind of works out. Prefer it to be like 25, 50, 75 right now. But you take what you get, you know? Believe in Svetlana. Wisniewski often wandered the halls of his party edifice to stretch his legs. Every now and then, the President of the Republic saw his steps bring him closer to the door of one particular staircase. That way lay the path to Selena's office. That's something in my throat, goddammit. The way lay the path to Selena's office, a strange location for the rising star of Komi's democratic politics, but the young woman had politely refused to move to a better office. Perhaps she treasured her peace and quiet. Quietly, Wisniewski had accepted he would have very little off when he had become head of the Republic. Peace, on the other hand, he desperately craved. Every day brought in new problems, schemes, intrigue, plots, manipulations. It drained him to keep track of the cards in play and of the players holding them. This was in addition of his role as head of state, keeping the economy chugging along, managing foreign policy, sifting through reports of the closest Russian warlords. He had very little time to make his own moves, neither did Consolidating, but with keeping the nation afloat, the Democrats could do a little against the extremist schemes. Wisniewski found his head on the door handle, a flight of stairs, a corridor, A knock on the young woman's door. Another request. Another confident smile and nod. Svetlana Stalina had arrived in Komi with nothing. She had fallen in love at first sight with her new home. The young woman loved Komi's stability, its order, its promise of progress. The radicals she hated with a passion. In them she saw echoes of a failed Soviet Union, of evil fascist powers that had plunged Russia into anarchy. She had joined the Democrats in their efforts, and her intelligence, charisma, and work ethics had charmed many. Others feared of her and her own brand of radicalism. No amount of bloodshed would be too great for Komi. To party members tired of political violence, she proposed a wave of terror to end our terrors. Vosnensky remained up the top of the stairs. He knew not if he wanted to go down. You know, we can't afford to need her this much. And next we have the interlude. It seems, if only for a temporary period of time, that things have finally calmed down again. Plots have retreated out of the public eye, most likely so that they continue plotting in the dark. The streets have become tranquil, and the sessions are less and less chaotic. There is, however, a reason for this calm. Soon democracy will once again be tested in election throughout the Republic of Komi. Each and every faction that wishes to see their leader in power now must plan to consolidate, calculating public support and paramilitary control of areas. The time of movement has ended. The time of strategizing has begun. Scavenge for loot. The president continued his walk. Useful as she may be, the rising star of the party still had to be reined in. Schemes and plots that went outside the knowledge of the party higher-ups was an especially big no-no. Vosnensky was quite certain that his underlings' plan for were targeted at the extremists, fair and square. But no one knew how far she would go. Vosnensky had not stayed in the business for so long without learning never to give out blank checks. Later over dinner, he wrote a few memos. The party whip in particular, he needed to meet. Stalina would receive an official warning. Heaven knew it might not be enough to stop her, but at least might serve as a cold shower on her ambition by signaling to her that her party was watching. We should calm her down some. I'm sure that'll work fine, and there'll be no repercussions from that. A request for a ceasefire. Oh, okay, I understand. As conflict between the centrist government and the far-right militias escalate, troubling news are spreading from several areas of Syktyvkar. So violence has spread to several sectors held by far-right, areas of the city held by the far-left have seen unusual activity. Many communist militias have moved out into the open, aggressively pursuing protection money for new businesses. In effect, the left wing has expanded the right sizes of its operations in formerly neutral right-wing sectors. Several political manifestations supporting the far-left have applied increase in pressure on the government, profiting from its inability to respond. Somewhere in the great game of Komi intrigue, Suslov must be smiling contentedly. A great deal of his activities are going unchallenged, as opponents are busy dealing with one another. Increase the influence of the left and a zone influence. Suslov is a very powerful man right now. It's a very scary thing. That guy's Sultan. Bulgaria sides with Germany. Okay. Very nice. Token civil rights legislation. We'll see if they go Wallace next time or not. Because that would be fucking cursed if they went with Wallace again. Goddamn. Welsh Unionists win the election. What is Path of the Kingdom doing? Round table. Swear to God, if we get Margaret Thatcher again. Because I'm getting tired of... I've seen pretty much... The Kingdom was won almost every time I've played. And then Margaret Thatcher wins. I don't know. Campaign for SMR, I guess. I don't know. Anything that'll decrease Vicentra's power, decrease Wisniewski's power, I believe. I don't know I don't think that's how it works actually entirely, but that sort of idea. Italy wins the war. Interesting. God, democracy in Komi is fucked right now. It is kind of sad. But not sad for us. Because this is kind of what we want. And that's what we asked for. Over 50% of the people wanted this sort of. The interlude. The two officers stare at the twisted corpse, his head curled on the side in a stick caricature of curiosity. Once must have been the clothes hanging to his side, limp and sun with blood. Around the neck dangles the title, Social Fascist will not be spared when the revolution comes. A stump of an arm. Surely the amputation must have been as recent as it was violent. Is tied off and secured with a little party badge. One of Wisniewski's men, perhaps? Officer Timorovuk nods mechanically to his deputy. Please note, extreme, type 24D, class B physical trauma. Prepare for physical examination back at the morgue. No further instructions. He ambles off for a smoke, and Deputy Sechkov begins to wrap the body in medical gauze. How long have they done this to the two of them? A dance back and forth and back again across the Republic, picking up the shred remains of life after life to dispose of in as tasteful a fashion as possible. Political Crimes Division is nothing more than a sick joke, and the officers of its hopeless war are gestures in the courts of the powerful. Crimes unseen, crimes unseeable, crimes that are discovered and hastily covered up, as well as some idiot child that might spew up some inconvenient, familiar truth at the table. Sachkov's hands tremble as he covers his eyes. He's tired, so very tired. And yet the charade goes on. Not far from Timurk wonders why there's only been one reported murder case this week. His precarious drop in previous months. He rubs his stubble, and then it hits him like a lead iron socket in his belly. They're preparing for election week. All of them. So we get the interlude. Time has come. We choose between Wisniewski, Kostin, and Stalina and see which one drags their party into the shit. Prepare against another raid. Assembly, Stalina's speech. Ivan Sarov. Decrease the influence of the left. A bit more influence by for the right. Actually, a fair bit of influence for the right. Does that matter too much? Not really. Actually, Sarov and Gumalov are just about equivalent with each other, which is funny. I'm gonna do something just to test things out. If we suppress the left a little bit, will that take down Suslov's influence? Or just, They shoot a communist member. You can just pause and read it, because I've read it already. It's more of a Sarov LP thing to read. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan Sarov is now the most influential person in all of Russia. Still in his speech. I'll pause so you can read it. This is more of a democratic campaign, which you can go and watch the other parts, because it's probably up by now. Thank you, Stalina. Let the debates begin. Initiate the raid, which I think we'll go ahead and do. Hostage speech. Give you guys a second to read. And to Moscow. Should be paid. Beautiful. We'll train some new walkers. Yeah, we'll train the workers. What falls faster, manners shares. The men stood by the sill, calmly, and waited their turn to jump. Out with a crash. Pause. And good speech, I'm sure it was. So much for a neutral state. They just invaded the shit out of those guys. Goddamn. Let's see who secures the majority. Voznensky secures the nomination, it looks like. Engineering industry. Do batch production methods. Can scavenge for loot. Eventually get working on new research facilities. That was probably gonna be a good idea. And I really should have gone to bed earlier. Well, I'm gonna try to toss my socks into the hamper. If any events pop up beforehand, pause. Yep. Because that didn't decrease anyone's individual power, just decreased the lapse as a whole. So we'll suppress the right again. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut it here. So thank you for watching. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content in the future, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, anything of the sort, go ahead and leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any and all feedback you might have for me. If you want to send feedback to me, I have a Patreon. If you want to chat or play games, I have a Discord. If you want to see me do the source stuff live, I have a Twitch, all of which are down links below. So yeah, that's about it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for watching. My name has been DB333. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.